104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern in the studio this morning and on the phone with the legendary Don Barnes of 38 Special. Sir, it is a pleasure to have you on the phone this morning.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me on. How's everybody doing this morning?
We're doing great, man. If you don't know, Don Barnes co-leads the band 38 Special, and we play a lot of 38 Special here in the Cave. And also on top of the songs that we play, you guys just put out a new record last week called Milestone. First new album in over 20 years.
Yeah, it's our 50th anniversary, and we felt that gave us a good purpose. And every project starts with a phone call or some kind of purpose, so we wanted to commemorate the 50th anniversary and put something out with a lot of modern version of 38 Special. You know, the reason over the years, we've been doing 100 cities a year, a little over that actually, and it was just one of those things that took up a lot of time every year touring. I've got 16 guys out here with their families. They're all relying on me to keep this thing running. So we're just taking care of our people. But over the period of time, we had a lot of song ideas and put in little bits and pieces, and we finally just compiled it all together. And so every song is real diverse. So we just decided to call it Milestone. Couldn't think of a better name for it, being the 50th anniversary. And it's amazing how that much time goes by. Don't blink, It's like I told Donnie Van Zandt at 30, I never thought I'd be looking in your face 30 years later. I told him, I said, if I'd have shot you back when I wanted to, I'd have been out of jail by now.
Well, and it's awesome that you mentioned that because of how long you guys work, and you always hear stories, especially about when you guys were writing this stuff together in the early days in a basement, just coming up with demos and coming up with stuff like just a couple of guys. And like you said, there's no way you're looking at this dude in the basement of a house co-writing these songs thinking, man, I can't wait 30 years. I'm going to be looking across. You're like, let's just do this right now. It's just, it's what you do. So
that's what it is. It's been a long journey. A lot of paying the dues, and it didn't catch fire right away. We did several failed albums, and you have to kind of accept that failure. It's not something that I would recommend to someone because you have to be about 5 steps ahead of yourself all the time. So you sacrifice everything, holidays and anniversaries and everything. So it's been a long trip here, but we're glad to be here. We were young boys with a dream, and we made all our mistakes in public, so we've gotten all this way. So Donnie's still my partner. He still owns the trademark with me, and he's doing fine. He had some inner ear nerve damage, and he had to leave the road. But I told him he made it for 40 years. I said, your brother would have been so proud that you made it 40 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And again, like you mentioned the name of the album being Milestone. I almost kind of wish that Men at Work hadn't used the title Business as Usual, because that would have probably been just as well for your 50th anniversary,
That would have been a good time. Yeah.
Also, you got Randy Bachman on there, which I'm a massive Guess Who fan. How was it like working with him?
Oh man, it was great. I found myself in Nashville one day, and my publisher said, "Randy Bachman's in town. Would you like to spend a day with him, try to write something?" I said, "Absolutely." So we sat down, and I told him that I'd played his songs in high school, and the Guess Who songs and all that, And of course, I was a big BTO fan too. And since then we played some shows. But I told him that I said, "You're kind of a part of a pivotal moment in my life." I said, "I was." 1972, I was doing landscaping and digging holes in Florida in the heat. And, they have a lot of palm trees down there, so you got to dig about a 5 foot deep, 5 foot wide hole. And they bring in the full grown tree with a big root ball and they put it down in the hole. But I said the radio was swinging from the mirror of the truck. And I heard the intro to Taking Care of Business. That
yeah.
And I thought to myself, down in that hole, I thought to myself, I can play that right there. If that guy can get on the radio, I need to get up out of this hole literally and get to work, So he loved that story, I said, yeah, you're part of the pivotal moment in my life. It turned me around,
Bachman is such a crazy cool guy. And I think, again, that's a really good lesson to kids, too, especially with what you're doing now. There's probably a bunch of kids hanging drywall and digging holes listening to us and listening to what you did, thinking, you know what, if those guys from Jacksonville could do it, I can do it. So,
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's an influence and an inspiration, we actually have a running joke. You mentioned drywall. I said, sometimes we'll be out and do an outdoor show, where it's the heat and everything. You're trying to just get it done. And somebody will turn around and say, well, it beat hanging sheetrock.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's the truth.
Well, in addition to the new record that just came out last week, you guys are on the road with Jefferson Starship and Kansas. You're going to be in Bonner Springs, Kansas on Friday, and then you're at the fabulous Fox Theater in St. Louis on Saturday. So
man, we're having a great time. We did about 32 cities with Kansas, and they had different support groups with us. We're co-headlining that tour, and just a great bunch of guys. A night full of hits, everything. Everybody make it out at Bonner Springs and like you said, the fabulous Fox. But it's a ride. We've been able to hone our live shows all these years. That's really our forte was the live show. We were better at that than studio work, but we've learned to bang these songs against each other. We've had good fortune of having a lot of hit songs, top 40, top 20, top 10. So we just unfold that history of people, and we see the joy on their face. They're high-fiving each other. They're singing along, and it's a great job to bring that joy to people. My sound man, he said, sometimes I got to turn you up louder because the whole crowd is singing louder than you are.
That's a good problem to have, man, for sure.
That's right, buddy.
Well, Don, thank you so much for the conversation this morning, man. You guys get their new album. It's called Milestone. It's out now, 38 Special. And then if you're wanting to see them, they're again in Kansas City on Friday, and they're in St. Louis on Saturday. Thank you so much. Have safe travels and a great tour, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate everybody making us a part of their lives all these years. And come see us. We'll have a large time. Thank you, buddy.